It's testing. All right, man. Sounds hard to come by these days. Hello. All right. Good morning. Negative 40 WTI. That's a steal if you could get it. Yeah, let's just go get $40. Like, I'll take 1,000,000 barrels of oil, please. And then they give you $40 million and then you just let the barrels sit there. Real, not realistic, Ellie? Just fill the pool. That's like, was it 20,000 gallon pool? So 60 gallons to a barrel of oil. I don't want to do math this early in the day. Ow. I did not buy the camera. I really liked the camera, but me and my wife had discussion, which turned into a bigger money discussion, and we're not going to buy the camera right now. But I have it saved in my email, ready to go when we do make the decision. Probably a month or two. Probably a month or two. All right, let's take a look at stocks, which are lower this morning, lower yesterday. But again, really nice and kind of mediocre down days. So I'm not too mad at the general marks at this stage of the game. Looks like Beyond Meat leading us up higher today. I called that weeks ago. I'm just kidding. What do we got here? UCO. Let's check out. Yeah, I don't know the oil trade here. Reverse stock split. It's such a tremendous. I'm not sure what the oil thing means. Oh, actually, IBD has an interesting. Negative oil prices to expire, but face brutal market forces. I did want to look at that article. Obviously, we know what brutal market forces are. Ellie sold his car, is now driving a Tesla, so no longer buying oil. That's tough for the markets. Negative for the second straight day Tuesday on storage concerns and evaporating demand. They're considering cutting production. I'll consider it, you know. Negative $4 a barrel. Wow, $15 a barrel in more realistic markets. I don't remember when I realized that there was more than one oil market, but it still seems weird to me. The oil guys aren't doing very good. Okay, that's all right. So that isn't that interesting news. Oh, damn. I may have to go to sitting for the whole stream. My knee. Oh. Self-diagnosing medical is usually not a good thing to do, but I think I have a torn meniscus in my right knee, and it's starting to hurt. So I'm going to try to not put pressure on it. Where am I with? Where'd my thing go? Yeah, well, we could explore that today. I mean, the market's kind of down 1% now. It looks like we've headed towards the lows of the day. There you go. So, I mean, we could explore that today, maybe looking for some oil plays, but I don't know. I'm not that much into oil. Appears most of the ETFs have stopped trading, so I don't know really where to get a lot of exposure. You could, like we just saw there, ExxonMobil only down 3% yesterday. Didn't really bother them that much, but I guess they already kind of took it on the chin a little bit. Yeah, Julie says demand very low. I kind of agree with that sentiment a little bit. Demand is still pretty low for oil. So I don't know where. UCO's 2x leverage. Oops, that's UXO. Shirley says WTI down to 5, Brent down to 10. Yeah, I'm not sure what thrives down here. It's kind of like finding a place to live at the bottom of a toxic volcano where all the sulfur dioxide comes up out of the ground. You're like, oh yeah, it's really nice down here next to this volcano. Let's kind of find out where we can pop a squat. So I'm not so sure. Yeah, I'm not sure where to play down here, just to be honest with you. I really have no idea with oil. I think I would like to find some ETFs, preferably some leveraged. I mean, with UCO, they may have options. They do have some options. That could get you some leverage if you're looking for leverage. But the question is, where do you go? That's the question. Our distribution day count, Rob, according to IBD, is either 1 or 0, depending on when you listen to them. So it's still relatively low. Really low, actually. I'm going with 1 because I don't know what the hell. This is what I was looking at the start of the show. If I went to the big picture, curious myself what the distribution day count was. And they talked about an oil price. I don't read the article. I just go, oh, something's wrong. Okay. Maybe Fridays. There we go. It says no distribution days. I'm not sure when they switched to none. But then if you go back, I have the 8th marked as a distribution day. Or maybe it was the 7th. But it says 1 distribution day right here on the 7th. And I believe they take 13 weeks to fall off, so this shouldn't have fallen off. Unless somehow they made a revised count and didn't, because I don't religiously read this every single day. So if they made a change, I don't know. There hasn't been one instance of distribution in the S&P. Nasdaq showed mild on April 7th, one day after the Nasdaq followed through on the 11th of its rally time for the distribution day. But the distribution day dropped off the count Tuesday after the Nasdaq rallied more than 5% from its April 7th close. What is... Okay, I'm not sure. I've never heard of that rule. So we remove distribution days if you go up more than 5%? When the hell's that been a rule? Oh my God. I don't know what's going on with IBD, but they're annoying. Horribly annoying. So 1 or 0, depending on if you believe in anything, I guess. Is Trump rescuing oil too? Printing money to the rescue. Ba ba da ba. Ba 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 ba. That's right. I've come up with a plan to give everyone as much money as they need forever. Unless you're just a working guy, in which case go fuck yourself. And by the way, that's not even a bash on Trump. That's just most politicians in general. Live oil price. Finviz may have it. I mean, you can look at. I'm not sure. Let's. I mean, everyone's looking at oil. I wonder what they're missing. Nasdaq almost at 1.5% now. I don't know. Well, oil all trades on the futures, so mini Dow, corn, 30-year Treasury bonds, 5-year soybean. BZ is Brent crude oil. Talk about shorting something. Holy crap. So that's BZ, that's Brent crude. I would say this is probably arguably what everyone pretty much uses day to day. Unless you have a Tesla, in which case you don't use any of it. And then we get massive price increases, Rob. Maybe if they're that bad at their fucking jobs, really, you'd think about it, that these executives would, I don't know. Definitely could happen. We've all seen, quote unquote CEOs, supposedly the smartest guy in the room, do stupid stuff. And I can't imagine oil has, I don't know. Can't imagine oil has better CEOs than the rest of the world, but they've obviously done something wrong here. 182 for the NASDAQ now. So if we sell off again, maybe our second shoe to drop is oil. You never know. You never know. But these Brent crude futures aren't doing so good. Yeah, the U.S. oil is basically shale, which is much harder to pull out of the ground. A lot more. Try to pull something out of sand is basically what you're looking at. So kind of difficult to do. Trump pay to not pump oil to raise prices. I think it's crazy oil's this low to begin with. Yeah, Beyond Meat is leading us up today, 13%. Capitalism, LOL. Well, capitalism's not all bad, but every system has its good things and bad things. I'm not a capitalism hater by any means. Actually, as a person in the U.S., I can see the benefits of capitalism, but I think like anything, the proponents of one system overemphasize the drawbacks of another system and vice versa, in my opinion. What's up, guys? Aram, how you doing? There you go. Nice. See little emoji icons. So, all right. Let's see what else is moving. LVGO, 5%. Still on a rocket move up from the bottom here. Breakout at about the 30 level now at about 40. Yeah, isn't that funny, Julius? Everyone thinks we're majorly capitalistic, but we tend to hand a lot of money out, don't we? Okta, all-time highs still. That's kind of been on a tear from lows here as of late. Been watching that go to highs for days. Yesterday was a huge volume day for Okta. Good move up as well. Take-Two Interactive. Green today, long-term turnaround play on the table. You got right here a big potential trade, maybe. whenever we cross our trend line. Actually, take two. I can move that to my long-term turnaround plays. Bam, right there, if it's not there already. Morning, Ethan.
Morning.
Oaked is already up from a long-term turnaround play.
Brushing my teeth.
You did? Mouth feel nice and clean. Good. DocuSign. Still rocking. Oh, Julius. Julius and shorting. No, don't do it. So there's something against going counter trend to the market that's very dangerous because it's counter to the trend. Guessing where our top is very difficult to do. Noticing break downsides and going with a downtrend and shorting is a different scenario in my opinion. But trying to short on the way up is very hard to do because if you're wrong in the market, it's like everyone trying to short Tesla. Speaking of which, what's Tesla doing today? Oh, we're flat. We're just sitting up here. So everyone trying to short Tesla so far has pretty much been wrong. Yeah, reverse. Yeah, it's basically catching a throwing knife. So is the knife being thrown or is it falling? Which one? Which one would you rather catch? I guess it depends the force in which it's being thrown and the force in which it's being fallen. Personally, I don't want to catch either one of them. So don't short it going up and don't long it going down. You want to wait for a signal of some kind. Some kind. Unless, of course, you're an institution that has billions of dollars and basically buys every day no matter what. Mark it up, I'm going to buy. Mark it down, I'm going to buy. Don't care, I'm just buying. But last time I checked, I don't think anyone here is a whale of that size. Clarivate Analytics. Clarivate. What do you think, Ethan?
What?
Is it Clarivate or Clarivate right here?
Clarivate.
You think it's Clarivate? Okay. Yeah, I'm torn on that one. Remember how we were reading? I was telling you that, some words are weird and you just have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one where someone made a word. Clarivat. Okay, now you're making up words, Julius. Now you're just making them up. What is watt all about? Well, watt is a derivative, I believe, of voltage and current. That's how you derive watts, Rob. Wireless charging, is that what it is? Energis. They're Energis. That's bad. It's not very good, is it? I agree. But the stock price is good. This is Rob's kind of a stock, although it's over $1, so it's a little expensive. They have lots of Energis today. Yeah, they do. Quite a few Energis today. I don't know. Never heard of it.
Daddy.
Yes.
It was doing pretty good, and then it just dropped.
Where? On which chart? Top left, bottom left?
Right here. It was doing really good,
Yeah.
and then it just dropped.
Yeah, for a minute. It happens. Yeah, you see over here though, if this is so with this chart every bar is a day. With this chart every bar is a week. So this blip right here, Ethan, is this blip right here. So look what happened prior to it. Looks just like this right now, doesn't it? Straight down, straight down, straight down, then you start getting blippy blip. Straight down, blippy blip. Makes sense?
Yeah,
So
it's kind of like a pattern.
Yep, it is a pattern. Probably not going to do very good. XLE, which one is that? Which one is XLE? It's an ETF. Select Spider ETF. Oh, I think it's energy, if I'm not mistaken. So this is an energy ETF. You can just Google these around. They're pretty pretty easy to find out information. My blippy blip language. Yeah, Energy Select Spider ETF right there. And then you can actually go into this and they will tell you what is in the ETF, which is kind of cool. If Google will work. Come on, Google, you can do it. I believe in you. Ethan doesn't, but I do. Come on. Here we go. And where are your... Here we go. Chevron, Exxon. Wow, that's half the fun. Chevron and Exxon. So it's basically a play on Chevron and Exxon. These other ones don't really have a snowball's chance to pop this thing back up. Valero, Schlumberger, Marathon, Phillips, EOG, all at about 4%. So it's basically an ETF for big oil.
Daddy,
Yeah, Ethan.
what about Apple?
Apple's not a oil. It's not an energy ETF. So different companies do different things. Apple makes phones and computers, right? Those two companies, ExxonMobil.
No, I mean, but is it on the crypto thing?
Apple? No, Apple's not crypto. So this right here is the stock market. And the stock market is where you trade companies like Apple or some other companies that you know, like Dell, your computer, you know. Cryptocurrency market is where you trade things that don't exist. It's a good way to put it. Yeah, cryptos don't actually exist in real life, but stock market trades tangible businesses. In theory, you know what tangible means? Real. Like this mouse is tangible. I can hold it. But how I move the mouse is intangible.
Am I real?
Hmm? I can't hear you.
Am I real?
Yes, you are tangible. You are definitely tangible. Later, Julius. Carvana, 9% today. They just started getting going again. Look at that. All right. After a big run up, they're non-stop right here. Stop teaching him bad things. I didn't say cryptocurrencies were worthless and worth nothing. I said they were not real. Because they're not real. They're intangible. They don't exist. But you're right. Yeah, you're definitely right, Ellie. Yeah, especially for kids and stuff. That's kind of one of the things with cryptos is they're much more comfortable. The upcoming generations are much more comfortable with digital money than say, old people. Hey, I got like 5 kills the other day, buddy. I got 5 kills the other day. Did pretty good. I don't want to hear it. I killed a whole squad all by myself with a handgun. They just must have been a really bad squad. All right, Beyond Meetup today. Still have a hard time really jumping in on this one. No major chart pattern on that one. Coming out of lows. Carvana is interesting. I generally like Carvana. It was kind of working its way up choppily, but obviously the market hit. Still not quite sure what LVGO does. Let's go take a look at that. Livongo. Oh yeah, Livongo Health. Okay, these are the guys that do virtual. This company deals also in the intangible. Squad of 3-year-olds. I was playing with a 7-year-old that was really good the other day. So, yeah, you jump on light against that kid, you're gonna get smoked. Man, those kids are good. Yeah, that's what Livongo is. So, looks like a $4 billion market cap, sales of only $170 million. So forward PE is massive. Look at that, 378 forward PE. Woo! You're paying a lot for that, probably. I don't know. Seems like too much. What's their EPS growth rate? Next quarter is 155%, so that's got to be pretty good. This year's only negative 65%. That's not very good. Let's go see what IBD says about LVGO. %97 composite rating is pretty good. 118% EPS change last quarter. 140% EPS surprise is good. Estimate is 60% for current EPS. No 3-year growth rate because they're a newer company. Sales of 137% is excellent. Pre-tax margin still negative. Volume, accumulation, distribution is pretty good. This is a little disturbing. But I think that they report quarterly, so you can see there's obviously been a lot of distribution here with an A accumulation distribution rating. So institutions are probably, this will probably jump back up on the next reporting. This is a lagging indicator. Percent change in funds owning stock. I think they have to report once every quarter. Yeah, latest reported quarter from prior quarter. So you're definitely on a lag there. What about Play? In which regard, Aram? Well, let's look at the stock chart first, and then we'll take a look at it on IBD. So Play's still down here, still stuck, not moving lower, not moving higher. So I think they're just kind of waiting. I know they have I think it's called, I'm not sure the term is a secondary, a tender offer, something like that. So they have an at-the-market offering of up to $75 million in shares. Now, this is quite a bit considering the company is smaller in market cap, too. So not super great for Play. I'm sure IBD has nothing good to say about Play. Yep, 25 composite rating. It's not a high growth name. It's just kind of a bounce back name for me. EPS is 7%. Sales 5%. 3-year sales growth rate 11%. So definitely not a high growth stock. Good ROE though, 36%. And this is an old article. So relative strength rating of 2. Yeah, it hasn't bounced back at all, so not a very healthy situation for Play. I wouldn't be buying it and putting new money into it probably if I didn't already have a position in it. But it's managing, it's maintaining. So this is our coronavirus list. We have Tesla up here flat. Square, zoom up a little bit. Airlines, what are airlines up to? Yep, still kind of just nursing their wounds a little bit here. They're not really bouncing up too far. Probably waiting for some things to open. If we get some openings here in the next couple of weeks, we'll probably be okay in some of these. In some of these names. But we're hearing a lot of data that we're going to be closed down for a very long time. In standard scale, if I take log off, it doesn't show you tremendous differences. It's, nothing crazy. Delta still looks horrible. United kind of catching up. Look how squeezed Delta is down here at these lows. They're just sitting down here. There's no buying pressure. United Airlines had a little bit of buying pressure, but it looks like a little bit more selling pressure as of late. Well, no, not at these levels, Aram. I mean, we've had a big move off of the lows already. So I don't think there's any.
It's a W.
Right here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah. This should be up here. NASDAQ will show W? No. But yeah, W is a chart pattern, Ethan. That's a good one to see. Amazon's probably one of the better ones / safer ones right now. If you're looking at new buys, it's already up substantially what we've been basing here for the past several days. So could go on to form a nice price consolidation shelf to buy off of, but we've come up significantly off the lows. There's no good buys here right now. They're all extended, so hard to jump in with new capital. It's really a waiting game. I think Julie's talked about cash earlier. It really is a cash. If you have cash, stay cash. I don't think there's anything that you have to buy. There's still a lot of uncertainty, and even though the market's rebounded substantially in a lot of circumstances, overall, I don't know about rocketing straight into new highs. We've come a long way from the bottom, but doesn't mean we're going to continue rallying sharply. Now, overall, I'm not too mad at it because on the indexes, look at the Qs yesterday. Is this the Qs yesterday? April, yeah. Yeah, I mean, look at the red volume on the Qs. It's pretty muted. Not a lot of selling pressure in the markets at the moment. So it's kind of a situation where just kind of wait. Virginia Airlines, they have an airline. I didn't know they existed. Which one is that? Probably auto-corrected Virgin Airlines. Really? Where are they? Our tickets are actually through them, so that would suck. In Australia? This one, Virgin Australia Holdings Limited. Except for the fact that it's a penny stock, actually looks not too bad here. Kind of a cup pattern right there. Although it's been destroyed, going back for years now, apparently. Lots of volume down here in the lows. Excuse me. Let's oh no, we're at British Airways. That's right. Oh wow. Virgin Australia enters bankruptcy as sales plunge. Everyone says they're going to reemerge stronger from bankruptcy. All right, well, we haven't seen how many bankruptcies have come out of this thing. I'm not sure if we've... I mean, I would assume most of the bankruptcies are from small businesses. They go to zero, basically, and you have to file in a lawsuit, but you're secondary to bondholders, so usually not a whole lot. Usually it just goes bankrupt and you just lose all your money generally. Because bondholders hold first position in a bankruptcy, stockholders... I'm not sure if they're second position, or I'm not exactly sure what their position is, but bondholders are first. So you've got to, they got to get paid off, which is usually most of the proceedings. Hold on a second. They may start selling new shares, but they would be different new shares. You don't get any of those shares. You still have to. You have to. I believe. You have to. Thank you, Ethan. I believe it starts over essentially. The old shares are wiped out. Because keep in mind what a bankruptcy is. A bankruptcy wipes all the debts clean, which is why the bondholders hold the first position in a bankruptcy proceeding. So if you want to get control of a company that's kind of doing bad, you just buy a crap ton of bonds, and then you essentially can, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I don't dabble in bankruptcy, but I believe if you're a big position bondholder, you can take possession of the business. So they'll actually use that instrument to take control in struggling companies. I think. Don't quote me on that, but.
Ethernet.
Huh?
Ethernet.
Like Ethernet?
Uh-huh.
Not really. Bondholders and Ethernet are not the same thing. So, but anyways, just know as a stockholder, you do not want your stocks to BK. Just period. You don't want them to go bankrupt. Just not something that you want. By a long shot.
Coronavirus is taking over the city.
Wow, IBD sucks. Now they're doing a Wyckoff trading course. Why are you hyping another method? Oh, because it's promoted content. That's why. Let's go take a look at some big-ish names here. Let's look at our chips. How's our Soxel doing today? Let's go back to here. All right, so market 1.54%, towards kind of playing with the lows. Soxel having a bad day today, kind of in line with the market. AMD double topping right now. Maybe this is going to turn into a base of some kind. 37%. Yeah, that's definitely a good basic structure for AMD. Intel Corporation not back nearly as much. That's interesting. That's pretty interesting. Nvidia. Right back towards highs there. I guess AMD's got the same. AMD's basically Nvidia plus Intel, so they're kind of in an interesting position. Let's go take a look of beaten down stocks. Market's been in downtrend past couple of days. Wonder if there's something to load up on. All right, Soxel coming down. That's interesting on a pullback. You can see that the volume is generally diminishing, so that's not too bad for longer term. ESNT kind of back down towards lows there. I'm not quite sure exactly what they do. AAXN, Salesforce. Pays pulling back in after move to 8, back down to almost 6. SLV, which you would think would be doing good, but not so much. They got destroyed from 17 down to 11. Kind of in the middle of that right now. That's an interesting position for the SLV. Fortinet, not doing too bad. Twitter, not doing too good. Bouncing back up. Earnings coming up here pretty soon. You'd think Twitter would do pretty good, but maybe they're cutting back on advertising. As Twitter's trying to get their sea legs. You got 4:30 earnings on Twitter. So that could be interesting. AZPN. I'm not sure what a lot of these do. Micron, there's a chip maker. Memory maker, actually, more specifically. Dropping down to 42 out of its... Had an interesting pattern going on here. I wonder if that's a tale of some things to come. Aggressive selling, more aggressive selling yesterday, and today following through to the downside. Not very good there. Melly. Las Vegas Sands inching lower. On Micron, gap fill. I don't know. Maybe. I don't. It's possible. I guess look to see if you find some support, but I'm not really looking for that. You know, I really do like the ETFs, especially in these times. Just kind of give you some. It eases the volatility while still getting some pretty decent results. Ring sitting right up there towards highs. Failed last time. Probably not going to buy a breakout this time. SkyWest Airlines, watch for them and see if they're going to go BK. I think they're a smaller provider. GNC, 39 cents. My goodness. Just destroyed. PFPT. Garbage. AVGO. See, we're in a topping area right here, so we got to see how we're going to handle it, and then if we're going to rebound after that, what's going to happen. So if this is a dead cat bounce for us, then we're screwed. I hope it's not. Usually you don't get dead cat bounces of 35%. Usually your dead cat bounces maybe 4, 5, 6% before you end up taking a leg lower. A move down lower here we'd be looking for a higher low overall in the markets. But yeah, with oil crashing the way that it is, I'm not sure how that's good for markets. Get out levels? That's a good question, Rob. I think it just depends on your position, to be honest with you, like where you entered and how much you're up and stuff like that. If you have positions from all the way down here, you can withstand a little bit longer. It's hard to say what a pullback right now looks like. If you get because our volumes diminish back towards normal levels on the indexes. If we have like normalized pullbacks, I don't really want to step out of the market. But if you start getting exaggerated selling, and then you see leaders start to fail. I mean, our biggest leader right now is probably Amazon. If we're looking for leadership and trying to see what the stock market, if it's healthy or not, Amazon's probably number one to look at. Apple and Microsoft haven't quite had the run that Amazon has had lately, so their leadership is a little bit less respected, but still they're high market cap companies, so they're going to provide value. If these start to fail, then you could start to think about taking profits. It looks like we're right on trend lines on Apple, actually. And then Microsoft. Kind of a lower high here. Play with a 10-day moving average. This one's already broken a trend line today, but again, the volume isn't that bad. I'd like to stay with positions. I don't like chopping around too much. That being said, with free commissions, it doesn't really matter if you're thinking about commissions. Yeah, I mean, right now, in terms of the NQs, I'm not really mad at it. We don't have elevated volume. We have nice buying days throughout. So I don't know if it's a level so much as it's a price action type of a situation. Because keep in mind, we haven't really had any pullbacks on the way up. So one pullback could get you stopped out, and you never know how it's going to rebound back. So it's always difficult to jump out. I think it's more of a behavior type of a thing. If we just have some normalized down days, the money lag before getting back in. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, because when you start to exit, it's hard to jump back in because, like, what's your signal to get back in? You know what I mean? So I want to try to stay with it. If you still have cash, maybe throw a hedge on at these levels. Maybe that's the thing to do, is just take a little bit of defensive posturing, and then if we drop down, I mean, it looks like we're starting to head in that direction. But, it's hard to tell. We could turn back around. But 1.85% now, we're starting to elevate a little bit. Maybe throw a hedge on, and then if it doesn't work out, you take a smallish loss. But if it does work out, you can take that as profit and kind of bank that, but still keep a majority of your long positions. That may be a thing too. Like, I've got some cash. I could throw a hedge on. That wouldn't be the end of the world. One question from here to ask, though, legitimately, is where do we go from here? With the current outlook that we have, and we've been discussing this past couple of days, well, except for yesterday, do we have a lot more upside potential? I've noticed on the NASDAQ that we're really close to highs and have a hard time believing we go right back into highs. And just straight, keep this trend line intact and off we go. So we're new highs back in early May, which is in about 2 to 3 weeks. I have a hard time believing that's the case. Everything's still basically closed. So I think a pullback is fully natural in this environment. Just depends how you want to handle it. Now, that being said, we've been discussing since the lows here, the next shoe to drop, which we haven't quite had the next shoe to drop yet. Oil is a pretty big shoe to drop, and it's dropping substantially. So maybe that puts a damper on things. We've got extended closures potentially on the table. So it's kind of one of those situations where we're elevated. There's probably more risk to the upside than there is to the downside, but we don't see any major distribution. So it's hard to start jumping out, in my opinion. So I think at this stage of the game, just take stock of your own accounts, see where you're at. I think hedging, like I said, hedging is probably a good idea. If you want to cut some positions up here, you don't have to cut the whole thing. If you wanted to cut, take a little bit off the table and kind of watch and see what it does, then try to re-enter that. As we're dropping right now 1.9 on the NASDAQ. We can go to the Qs. And right now we're undercutting the day's opening range right there. So there's a little H pattern. And so far we're going under that. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I don't think hedging here is a bad idea. But you never know how these things bottom. The second you exit, they tend to rally back. With no distribution day, zero distribution day count, it's kind of hard to get super bearish, at least for me right now. But when you look at the economy fundamentally and where we've come technically, we've come a long way in a very short period of time, considering what's going on. So I think hedging is good. I think I don't want to exit some really good entries down here arbitrarily. Oh, there we go, trying to rally it, but so far not looking like it's going to sustain. Let's see what happens. So you look at like an SQQQ for a hedge, or if you think that TZA would be the inverse of the Russell, so that would be a little more volatile than the NASDAQ, which would be the SQQQ, at least in theory. Today it's not. It's actually the SQQQ's up more. Basically, you take a counter position. So let's say you're long the TQQQ and you don't want to sell it. You can take another portion of your account, go long the SQQQ, which is the inverse of that, essentially protecting you from your TQQQ position evaporating. Now, don't get me wrong, the TQQQ position would still evaporate, but you'd have profits in the SQQQ, which on a cash basis should essentially even you out. Now, there's a lot of more advanced hedging strategies I'm really not aware of, but you can use options to hedge. The whole purpose of a hedge, usually, in my opinion, is to protect you from unforeseen circumstances. That's really the position of a hedge. Usually your hedge should be smaller than your traditional position, but ideally it should make you more money on the flip side with a smaller position size than your traditional position. So in other words, if the TQQQ goes down 3%, you'd like the SQQ to give you 6%. It won't do that, obviously, but you'd like that. So if that was something you're looking for, you could look for some more advanced options derivatives, basically an options position. In the short term, and be willing to, let that money go, especially if you're dealing with an option. So, all right, market 1 point, sitting towards the lows here, getting down towards 2%. Go back to the Qs. Watch them for a minute. But yeah, I've been talking about pullbacks past few days, and actually been talking about pullback for the past weeks. Haven't had one yet. Looks like we're maybe starting to finally get a pullback. Today's probably the first sign of that, without any bounces today, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, the lows from a few days ago. Yeah, that's pretty much right, Rob. Yeah. So if you're looking at a stair-stepping action, we should be near lows. This is kind of, well, that's probably kind of your base right there. So here we had a prior base that we were playing with right there. We chopped around here. So now this is our prior base. We've extended up, coming back down towards this level is pretty normal. I mean, there's really nothing too bad coming down to here. Should you buy the pullback? I guess we'll see. I don't have a great answer to that. We haven't had a pullback yet. That's the point, is that we don't know what it's going to look like. Yeah, I mean, if it leads us into a deeper if it leads us, we'll have to, I mean, I don't know. I look at the price action during these times to try to see what's what. So far, I'm not mad at the price action. Like I said, today's just the first sign where we could start getting a pullback. We're still above our trend line here on the NASDAQ, so I don't want to start getting, too aggressive on a selling position above the trend line. So if you're asking if we should buy the pullback to the trend line, I guess you could add a little bit if you have some cash. We're still super light on distribution days. And you never know, today could end up being one. Because yesterday was, the volume yesterday was pretty benign, so you could argue that today could easily be a distribution day. And we're definitely down the 0.2% requirement, so we just have to have elevated volume, and we could have a distribution day. So, unless we just straight up, look at that on the 5-minute, that's a pretty nice little candle. That's a nice one. So this is why I say I don't want to get rid of my long positions. I don't mind a hedge, though. Now, for me, a hedge wouldn't mean it would absorb all of my paper losses. I say paper losses because we haven't closed positions out. It would just, reduce the negative mental effects, I guess. And if it could potentially get you some profits on the way down. If we go down, like I said, we're still well above the trend line in the NASDAQ. What are you going to play? Speak. What? Wormayo. Okay. Another stair step line at the bottom of the third and fourth day back, maybe. What do you mean? Like this? I'm confused. I don't know what you mean. I'm not sure what you mean by that there, Rob. Sorry. PG. How is Beyond Meat still being eaten up? Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, anything's possible. I mean, at this point in time, if you're looking on these 5-minute charts on these shorter term time frames, I could probably break this out and go to hourly for right now, just for. So there's our trend lines. And so, yeah, so here's there is a pivot point, a minor pivot point right there at the 84.90, which we're still above. We're still playing with that level. So, I mean, there is a small pivot point right there on the futures at least. But we'll see what happens. Looks like you got a head and shoulders pattern here. Shoulder, head, shoulder, neckline. We've already broken that. And then it looks like if this one is to be believed and if this one works out, your downside is in the cards here to 8,400. if you're to believe that particular chart pattern, which, I mean, that would be a normalized pullback. Oh, look at that. My level's good. So 8,400 in the cards isn't too bad and doesn't even get us out of our channel. Could we extend down from that? Absolutely. Absolutely, we could extend out. That's just one leg in the chart right there. I think our volume is already elevated from yesterday. We're at 720. Yeah, so there's 720 yesterday, and you can see there's a bunch of black in the chart implying less volume than we have right now. So we're already higher volume from yesterday, likely to have a distribution day today. Doesn't mean it's the end of the world. No, it's a distribution day. We have one or two, depending on what you believe. That's still annoying. So, you know, I mean, nothing too bad. It is a pullback. If you want to buy the pullback, I mean, if you're getting in specific names, you know, space is actually not in a bad place right here. Look at that, good volume on the upside, and then we have kind of lower volume on the pullback here, which is in a nice little triangle flag thing. So, could be a buying opportunity. I'm not too mad. Just pick your poison, look at your volumes, make sure things are manageable. You're above support. You know, Tesla's still good. Still just sitting up here in this little base. Could have a gappy gap in the downside direction, creating an island bottom. That would kind of suck, but I'm not really too mad at Tesla. I don't think anyone's too mad at Tesla. Yeah, I mean, it's just a down day. We're allowed to have some down days. Market's been very volatile the past several months, and can't expect it to stop really right now. I think coronavirus thing, I don't know. Like, it kind of is what it is. Kind of feels a little bit old, to be honest with you. People are going to get sick of it already. Surprised we've lasted a month. Oh, what? U.S. North Korean leader in grave danger after surgery? Really? What is this about? Is Trump going to send him a get well soon card? Wow. Looks like they should have gone to China for the surgery instead of some homeschooled dude from North Korea. Of course, that surgery is going to be, surgeon's going to die. He had a cardiovascular system procedure because of excessive smoking, obesity, and overwork. Huh. Yeah, it's funny. Probably the only place without any COVID. Interesting. Interesting. If this dude dies, I don't know what they'd do. He doesn't have any kids. I mean, although who would deny him with that haircut, really? That's who would deny the young man? Global U.S. updates. Let's do U.S. first. What you need to know. Some states could reopen soon. Trump and Pelosi hint a deal is closed on bailout legislation. Gift the country. All right, New York death toll is going down. That's good. $2.5 million infected, which isn't bad. Germany canceled Oktoberfest. Hong Kong saw no new cases yesterday. Pretty cool, man. I've got to say, I mean, U.S. hasn't handled this perfectly, don't get me wrong, but it's pretty neat that pretty much the whole country quarantines, you know. I don't think they do it. I don't think you do. I don't think people will quarantine out of fear. I think it was out of respect, which is good. Yeah, I did see that, Rob. I was listening to the radio and they were saying that China had as many deaths as the U.S. had, and that seems pretty wrong considering the fact they didn't really know about it or report about it. So it doesn't seem very very good. Get wrecked, noob. Sign Trump. I have a feeling he would sign that legislation. What's this bill say? Get wrecked to newbies? Okay, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, let's sign it. Sounds good to me. Everyone says it's great. It's a good bill. I'm not going to read it, but it's good. It's good? Okay, cool. Sounds great. I have the best signature. Hiker stranded on deserted island by virus. Someone stranded on a deserted island? That's awesome. Well, not for him, but just the story. In oh, that sucks. He's in Scotland? Ugh. Three years in the middle of an 8,700-mile hike? Wow, you really didn't like college, did you, man? A cottage on a tiny island all to himself. It's just super. It couldn't be a better place for a lockdown. Nothing here but a few sheep. What's he using those sheep for, huh? And an array of birds. Good question, Rob. I'm the world's best hiker. How'd you get to the island? I hiked. How'd you do that? I'm the world's best hiker. That's true. That's not a cottage. That's a straight up house, dude. You get like 2,000 square feet to yourself if that's your cottage. That's pretty awesome. It's just me and my sheep in this house. Well, I was trying to reach 100,000 pounds. That's pretty good. All right, so he's not really stranded. He's just kind of chose to go there and wear a kilt. That's pretty fun, though. Cool, cool. All right, so we got sidetracked a little bit there. Talk about coronavirus. 2.2%, so we took another little leg lower on the NASDAQ. All right, extending down after what could have been a nice little bottoming candle. Turned out to not be. So far, not looking like a good day. Yeah, it could be the start of a leg down. We'll see. That's true, Ellie. Could just walk. Yeah, he's the world's best hiker. It's easy, right? I'll just put some weights on there. Put a tube up to the surface, and what's this channel? 450 feet deep? Done. Let's do it. Let's hike. Let's hike to the island. All right. So moving lower there. I'll get my laptop up. I'm going to throw that hedge on. We shall see. See what IBD says our volume's like today. I'm not talking to you anymore, Rob. No more talkie. And no major help there. Now, one thing I do want to see here. I'm going to unlink this one. And we were looking at remember last time when SQQQ royally screwed me? So I wonder if we go down, if I'm going to get royally screwed again. I'm kind of pissed at it. Whoops, wrong one. Yeah, it's not too bad. Maybe a good hedge right there. All right, let's go see what Beyond Meat. See, when Beyond Meat's falling down from double-digit gains, it's a bad market. Let's see here. How's our Soxel doing here? Not super hot. Oh, we're still above trend though. Bounce in the markets here. $2.25 down the Nasdaq. So he broke that 2% barrier pretty handily there. Tesla's still been like one of the best trades this whole cycle. It's just been tremendous. I'm a little loose on my Carnival Cruise Lines trade. I told you I put a position on the other day. I'm not down that much, but I don't know if I want to kind of foresee it here. I'm not sure. The volume's definitely manageable. I'll probably hold on to it. Could get a gap down one day, though. Just obliterate my money. I could reduce position. It's already pretty small, though. It's not too bad. All right. I think I'm going to get out of here, guys, in a minute. So today looks like, I can't say it's going to be a distribution day, but it's kind of looking that way. So this would be first or second distribution day since our follow-through day, which was way back over here on 4-2. So, I mean, it's not bad to have a distribution day every now and then. Like I said, I don't think a little bit of hedging is bad, but I don't think you want to be jumping out of the market on the first, shake of the boat, if you will. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, overall things are still doing good. Obviously, some profit taking. We mentioned we hadn't seen a pullback in the market. Still haven't seen a pullback in the market. This isn't, in my mind, that's not considered a pullback yet. But a few more percent, we could consider that a pullback. And then, of course, if it breaks the trend line here, likely to see some lower lows going maybe back down. These Bollinger Bands have been pretty good. I actually kind of really do like the Bollinger Bands on the Nasdaq. So maybe we get back towards the middle here and then bounce. I'm just kind of saying that arbitrarily, but the theme of the Bollinger Band here has been pretty good in the upper half of the range here on the way up. Came back, tested the lows, and then stopped, and then went right back up. So yeah, I don't think it's too bad that we're pulling back from the top of the Bollinger Band too. It's just a test of the middle. Still have a few more percent to go, and then if things look pretty good in these areas, then yeah, maybe that'll be the pullback. But again, markets come up pretty far. Looking for shoes to drop. Haven't seen too many. Oil's a pretty big shoe, but we're handling it pretty well. So I don't know how that's going to work out. But all right, guys, I think I'm going to bounce. My Tesla 650. Okay. Yeah, we'll see what happens with oil. That's going to be an interesting play going forward. May have to look into that one because that could provide some opportunities. But I'm not sure when demand's going to come back. That's an interesting factor on oil, is definitely demand. So, all right, everyone, have a good day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.